These? Oh, Jesus. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bandits and Bookworms. My name is Deidre, and today we are going to be setting my April TBR. So I am filming this video on March 29th, so it is not officially the end of March yet, but I think I'm only going to get through one more book in this month before I set my TBR for April. Or I start my TBR for April, because I'm setting it now. This month, I'm not going to be picking anything from my TBR jar or anything like that because I'm going to be participating in the Magical Readathon, which is hosted by G over on Book Roast. This is my first time ever participating in the Magical Readathon, but it seems really cool. I'm not going to go into tremendous detail about what it is here, but to give a brief summation of what it is and what it looks like, you are a mage attending Aurelium Academy, and you are taking classes to get into your calling or your career, basically. And the more classes that you take, by the way, the classes are prompts that you read, the better that you'll do as far as progressing in your career, essentially, is what it kind of boils down to. I've already gotten my character created and everything for it. I'm really excited about it. So we'll get into that here in a second. But there are a couple of things that I need to do first before we get into those reading prompts, because I still have a goal of every month completing 2 Bookopoly prompts. So let's roll those first. For those who remember my last TBR video when we set our March TBR, I actually ended up doing 3 prompts last time and then allowed myself to pick 2 to fulfill my due 2 Bookopoly prompts. So we ended on the ebook or audio space on the top of the board. So now we are going to roll again for the next 2 prompts. And I will see if I feel like doing a third one at the end of this, but there's quite a few prompts that go in for the Magical Readathon. So I think we're probably going to stick with 2. First roll. It was a 4, a 3, and a 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a fantasy book. How will I ever choose? Okay, for this pick, I'm gonna do Legends. Whoa, what are words? What are words? For this pick, I'm going to do Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This was a gift from Kira last year during our Bookworms book exchange that we do every year. We each pick a book that we have read, and then we gift it to the other 2 people in our group. And so you end up coming away with 2 books, and then once everybody's read all of the books, you have books that you can discuss together. So, Legends and Lattes. I haven't read this one, so let's try it. Let's also move my candle. Okay. Second roll. Got an 8, a 6, and a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A sequel. Okay, I have a couple of sequels that I could choose. Let me see what I've got going on here. Okay, this one may seem kind of out of left field, maybe not, but I'm going to choose Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. This is the sequel to The Fine Print. It is the second one in the Dreamland Billionaires anthology. So this follows one of the brothers, Declan and Iris, and I'm really excited about that. So this is, I think Declan is supposed to become the CEO and Iris is his assistant, I want to say, if I remember correctly from the first one. And because it's a romance, I should hopefully be able to get through it pretty quickly. So I'm trying not to do what I did to myself last month, because last month I overwhelmed myself really badly and ended up kind of not reading a ton as a result. You'll see that in a future video. But I want to make sure that I have a reasonable number of books to read and don't feel obligated to finish all of them. So at least for those 2 that I do kind of feel obligated to finish, since those are my Bookopoly prompts for the month, they're fairly easy to get through. Now that we have done that, and before I sign myself up for a third one, let's go through the prompts for the Magical Readathon. I may at some point get art of my character, but for now, we're just going to talk about her really quick. Her name is Gwair Balkan. She is in the House of the Arcane, and her calling is an archmage. So she is going through a lot of like really specifically like arcane magic things. So she's a novice since this is her first semester ever at the college. So I have 6 different classes that I am taking this semester, and this readathon takes place all through the month of April, so the 1st through the 30th. So she's taking Alchemy, Inscription, Artificery, Spells and Incantations, Art of Illusion, and Conjuration. All of those are prompts that go into things, and they have lore reasons for why you're doing them. So let's go through them kind of in order of how they appear on the calling list for me. So the first one was Alchemy, and in Alchemy, we are focusing on transmutation circles. So the prompt for this is to have a circle on the cover. And this can be done in like the form of an object, like a sun or a moon or something, or it can be like just a shape, like whatever works. So let me go see if I have any books that I have not yet read that just have a circle on the cover somewhere, because I'm sure I have some. Okay, and this is our first spoiler for my March TBR results, and I'm going to add The Future of Another Timeline by Annalee Newitz. This is one that follows, it's kind of like a time travel thriller, it seems like, where the protagonist, I think, is trying to like create safer futures by like going back in time and changing the way that things go, but there's like butterfly effects involved and stuff like that. But anyway, the circle on the cover is the clock here. So I'm curious to see what this ends up turning into. I am actually curious to read this one now. March, I think I just entered a really bad reading slump, which happened to me last year too. Looking at my reading journal, I went from reading 6 books in February last year to reading 1 in March last year. Didn't quite drop off that badly, but it was quite a drop off, I would say, this year. So hopefully this one is good and I enjoy it. The next one is Inscription. So that is the lore reason we're doing it is a practical, it is typography. So the prompt for it is to write down 3 titles, hold them up, and then randomly choose one. So I'm going to do that now. I have 3 titles I need to choose, and then I'm going to do that thing. So give me a second to do that. Okay, I have balled the 3 titles up. Oh gosh. And I'm gonna go have my partner choose one of them for me. We'll see how that goes. Okay, he chose this one. Putting these 2 to the side. Ooh, okay. We're reading To Cage a God. So that is gonna be interesting. That is, I think, the most recent Illumicrate box. Let me go grab it. So To Cage a God by Elizabeth May. This is one that has, I don't know a ton about it. Okay, so it seems like it's sisters overthrowing an empire. Maybe there's romance involved and rebellion, and I'm into it. So, To Cage a God. For the record, the other 2 choices on there were Voyage of the Damned and Starling House, which are all Illumicrate books that I have. I wanted to make sure that I chose at least one because, oh my gosh, I have so many that I need to go through. The next one is Artificery, and this is, the focus is lock and key. So the prompt is to have a lock or a key in the title or on the cover, which I don't know if I have anything that qualifies. So let's go find out. And look at that. It's our second spoiler for the March wrap-up video, which is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. Didn't get to this one either, but there's a key right there. There it is. So this one's going back on the TBR as well. Oh, also, I just realized I never mentioned this, but if you see Bonus Dog back here, she's just a bonus dog. We don't own her. She's our friend AJ's. So hi AJ if you're watching again. But Artemis is a good girl and she's hanging out with us for the weekend. For the next one is Spells and Incantations. The spell that we are learning is Quick Count. So the prompt is to do a random number generator title length. I think that somewhere between 1 and 8 words would make sense. Okay, let's do 8 words. So then we'll generate that. 3. Okay, so I need a 3-word title. I can do that. That should be fairly easy. This is one that was actually on my January TBR, but I did not end up getting to. It was the one that I didn't get to in January, and that is Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second one in the Grishaverse series, which follows Alina and her figuring out her Grisha powers. So it is interesting. I've already read the Six of Crows duology. Shadow and Bone was okay in comparison. So Siege and Storm I've not been like looking forward to the most, but I am doing an entire Grishaverse like read through, which means I will get to Six of Crows at some point. So that's going to be super exciting. The next one is actually one I already have one in mind for, and the class is Illusion and the Art of Illusion. And the focus is shadow play, so that's the lore reason that we're doing it. So the reading prompt is a game or play in the title. And I have the book already. Hold on. Still has its sticker on from Barnes & Noble. I'm trying to take that off really quick. So for this one, I am choosing The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So the plot of this one is that this girl who is in high school gets left this billionaire's estate for some reason, and she has to basically solve a bunch of riddles and puzzles and stuff while also kind of fending off the family that he disinherited by randomly giving her all of his wealth, and they are trying to also figure out what the heck is going on. So this one I've heard is really good. A lot of people really like it, so hopefully I enjoy it as well. And then our last prompt, which might lead us to another Bookopoly prompt, we'll see. But our last one that we have this time is the class is Conjuration. The focus is a blinding prism, which means we need to spin a color wheel and then choose a book cover based on that color. So I'm gonna do that really quick. All right, so now we are going to press spin. Boop, 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 boop. It lands on blue. Okay, cool. So blue is the color of the cover I now need to choose. Okay, for this one, I am going to choose A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. So this one, I'll just read to you the inside, like the blurb on the inside cover. A shield maiden blessed by the gods battles to unite a nation under a power-hungry king while fighting her growing desire for his fiery son in this Norse-inspired fantasy romance. So I feel like this has kind of blown up a little bit recently because the not Book of the Month edition had like really cool sprayed edges and stuff, which I should have thought about because I got the Book of the Month edition and then I went into Barnes & Noble and I saw it sitting there and I was like, that's gorgeous, and I'm upset now. I think mine was significantly cheaper because I've been with Book of the Month for a while. So this has got a lot of blue in the cover, which is why I'm going with it. It's kind of a sky blue, but it didn't specify the shade, so I'm going with this. And that leaves us with 8 books on the TBR. So the other thing too is that I'm also reading An Education in Malice as a part of the Citadel Book Club this month. So do I want to be daring and put 10 on there again? Sure, why not? Let's do it. So I was on sequel. We're going to Bookopoly again, y'all. Let's find out. A 6. 1, 2, 3, 6. Oh, a 5-star prediction. Ooh. See, here's the thing is a lot of the books that I have right now that could be 5-star predictions are sequels. And I feel like I do tend to rate sequels higher than the originals, but I always feel like I have way too high of expectations going in for them. Let me see. Okay, so this is one that I want to say is a hesitant 5-star prediction for me because I feel like romances for me, there's a hint, it's a romance, tend to either be a 5-star or a 4-star for me. The reason why I think this one might be a 5-star is because it's kind of unique in its plot line, and that is Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver. This is a trilogy called the Ruinous Love Trilogy. The sequel comes out later this year, I believe, but this one is 2 serial killers meet each other and fall in love, which is fascinating to me. I'm a true crime girly. I have a coffee mug somewhere around here that says fueled by coffee, iced coffee, and true crime. And I also have a lot of romances. In fact, my most read genre besides fantasy is romance. And then I also combine the two and read a lot of romantasy too. So this has the potential to be a 5-star, but it could also be really disappointing at the same time. I always am so hesitant to say it's going to be a 5-star because I feel like it's setting my expectations so high. So we'll see. We'll see where we end up with this. Okay, so that leaves me with 10 books on my TBR. So going in the order that I picked them, we have Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher, The Future of Another Timeline by Annalee Newitz, To Cage a God by Elizabeth May, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, Siege and Storm by Lee Bardugo, The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen, Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver, and An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. Let's see how we do on those. I am so curious to see where we end up with because it's going to be a wild ride. We have kind of a, it's all fantasy, largely fantasy. We've got sci-fi in there. So we've got contemporary romance, we've got serial killer romance, which is a whole different beast, it seems like. So we've got a lot of random stuff in there this month. So we've got a little bit of a smattering. Let me know down in the comments what you think your favorite book in the month of April is going to be. Let me know if you're disappointed that I didn't get to a couple of these books in March. Again, it's going to be a bigger disappointment when you actually get to my March wrap-up video later on. I think I'm most excited about, what am I most excited about looking at this list? I think I am most excited for Butcher and Blackbird of this list, but I'm honestly excited about most of these books. There isn't one on here really that I'm like, about. In the meantime, leave a like if you enjoyed this content. Don't forget to subscribe for more content and to get notified about other videos when they come out. And I hope you are practicing safe text. Bye.